Over to Buster for our next game here with the Islanders and Minnesota Wild. Kind of a tale of two different types of teams here, Buster, but realistically, two teams that are supposed to be low scoring with good goaltending, good defense. But which team are you looking to bet on more right now, the Wild or the Islanders?
Well, that's a loaded question. Whether I to look to betting on more, I think they're both playing pretty good hockey, right? Last week we talked about this Minnesota team last Tuesday, and I said I really thought they were going to maybe hopefully go on a good win streak. If it was waiting for that win streak, well, and I said for my clients I put out Minnesota last week, and they got the win on Tuesday. I like them again tonight. I've already put it out for my clients again on Minnesota. They've won 5 of their last 6. The only game that they lost there was the OT to Toronto, and we're getting a pretty decent price on them. Thing is, the Islanders, ever since they've got Bo Horvath, wow, they're starting to play some good hockey, really good hockey. So it is tough. They've been actually a very confident team. They go into Winnipeg and win 4-0. That was impressive. These guys have already played once. Minnesota did beat them 3-1. Again, I say on here all the time, and everybody in the comments says, yeah, you don't bet with your gut, Buster. Well, bet with 40 years, whatever you want to call it. I just have a feeling Minnesota being at home, they've won their last 4 games at home, so they're starting to play very well at home. You'll see that, I think, more and more going with these better teams, playing at home, starting to put those winning streaks together at home. As far as this total, it's 5.5 under 40. Wow, so 5 might be coming. I'm not sure if the odds makers want to put it at 5, though. But it probably has a right to be there. Minnesota at home, 15-2-2, the last 19 to the under. Well, I talked about last week's game, it was 2-1. They won. So just again, and one more fact about the under. When the Islanders play anybody in the Western Conference, 9-1 to the under. So, I just don't want to lay that 140 under. But in saying that, if you're a guy like myself, I do lay 125, 130 on an over 6.5 that I love over. This is a pretty good under. So I don't blame anyone to lay the under and lay that juice. But because 5's coming. So if you do want to bet the under, bet it now. Lay the juice. Anyways, I'm not going to get to that total. It's another Tuesday, and I'm hoping it's going to be another Minnesota Wild victory.
Well, the Wild are 4-1 the last 5 games. They are playing better hockey, and this is really the time of the year they have to step it up. And as far as the Islanders, they're off a big win, Carm. But look, being without Barzal, I think, is a real tough thing for this team. So for me, this isn't a game I have a huge opinion on, but I think I have to look towards the home squad. I just think right now, Minnesota realized that they were in a slump for a little while. They weren't playing to their capabilities. And as of late, we've kind of seen them turn it on a little bit. And, Buster talks about how he likes the under in this game. And I think it's because both teams haven't really shown they have too many weapons that are able to put the puck in the net. And at this point, without Barzal, without Pajot, I think the Minnesota is the deeper team. So I'll go with Minnesota for my opinion. What do you think, Carm?
I guess I'm bananas again, guys. I'm leaning the Islanders here. Listen, I don't know. Watching Minnesota the last few games, and I have been watching their games. Kind of tooth and nail to beat Columbus twice, beating them in OT and scoring 2 in Columbus, and then pretty much did nothing the second and third periods. They beat the LA Kings. They beat the Preds, who were on a back-to-back in a tough scheduling spot. And I get it. There's still games that they won, but they haven't won convincing games to me. I actually think the Islanders go in there. The one thing the Islanders suffered from earlier in the year was a team that just could not score goals. You have a goalie like Sorokin, who's like 20 and 18, with a goals against average that's like 2.2 or 2.3, and he's 20 and 18. It's because they don't score goals, which was highlighted by them losing that game at home to Minnesota 3-1. The third goal was an empty netter, but Sorokin stops 33 or 35. And they can't get any scoring for them. They've got a little bit of scoring now, and they're probably not finished yet on making any moves on this. But I like them to go into Minnesota and spring the upset today. I don't think Minnesota's playing their best hockey. I don't think they are the same team they were last season. And I think because of that, I'm okay with taking a team to go into Minnesota and beat them. And that's what we're going to do with the Islanders tonight. Take a good goalie. I can't lean on the under here while it's at 5.5. I think it stays under, but it's just way too much juice. And as Buster said, a 5 could pop up at any time now.
It would be nice, guys, if we could almost get a goal early in the game, like 2 or 3 minutes in, boom, bet that under 6 or 6.5. And then, the game calms down, because that would really be beneficial for us as far as getting rid of that bad number. I mean, how often do we see a 5.5 in general in the NHL these days? And then a 5.5 this heavily shaded. Let's be honest here. I mean, most of the 5.5s we've seen this year have been 5.5, but to the over. This one is telling us that they think it's going to be a 2-1 hockey game, pretty much. They're very confident based on the odds we're seeing. So I think I'll be ready to pull the trigger, guys. If we see a goal early in this game, I'll probably look to jump in on that in-game under. Also, penalty kills, really strong for both these teams. Hopefully the power play is never a factor. Nothing worse than when you have an under and 5-on-5, there's no goals, but there's like 4 power play goals. That's probably the worst feeling.